Okay, so welcome everybody. We're early, but we're it. So I think we'll just start. And I like what Alex did, which was take a nice deep breath. So let's sit with our spines straight. And just begin to tune into your breath without changing anything. And if you feel, of course, like the impulse to take a deep breath, feel free. And as we settle into whatever surface is supporting our body, let's also begin to synchronize our energy with each other. So we could imagine passing it in kind of a circle, whatever circle of people you happen to see on your screen. It might be different for each of us, but just pass a gentle energy around, an energy of greeting, of safety and support, and of compassion. And any other character or quality that you would like to bring in. And just continue to receive from one direction and pass around out the other way. And just notice how the energy flows. Synchronizing, conspiring, inspiring, breathing together. And maybe just take a moment to set an intention for yourself, what you would most like to receive out of this experience today. And also what you would like to give. That could be as simple as your presence, or perhaps you have something else to offer. And then offer those intentions up. And if it's comfortable for you, take a deep breath and hold the breath at the top. And then when you need to exhale, just exhale. And then gently open your eyes when you're ready. Okay. So I am going to share my screen with you. And open our slides for today. And I will say we're on for 3 hours. I actually have no idea. Please open. I have no idea how long things will take. This is really experimental, and it's also going to be kind of based on our energies and how we're going through it together. I will say that we'll definitely end at the 3 hours, but we might not get to every chakra as fully in 3 hours. And you will have all the information so that you can continue with them if that happens. And I also want to mention that we'll be taking breaks throughout. So if you ever need one, feel free to just say so. And otherwise, like every hour, we'll take a 10-minute break or so. Okay, so this workshop is spinning your wheels. Oops, go away. Don't you just love technology? There. Spinning your wheels, an introduction to the energy centers of the body. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to go through each of the chakras. We're going to talk about the different aspects of the chakras that both are more traditional and also more like the westernized symbology around the chakras. We're going to talk about some of the misperceptions about chakras that are kind of running rampant. And we're going to look at, they talk about there being within each chakra that it can be a bit overactive or underactive, and then also balanced. So we'll talk about some of the ways that that can happen. And then also I'll offer you a lot of ways that you can work with the chakras. And I'll say more about that as we go. So before we kind of get into things, does anybody have anything they want to say or questions or anything? No, okay. Oop. I'm going to have to navigate this a little better here. Okay, so how many chakras are there? So if you have just a little scrap of paper or just, have what you think the correct answer is, although I suspect everybody here might know the answer, whether it's A, B, C, or D. So everybody's got their answer, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think? You can shout it out.
7!
Yeah, I'm going with 7.
Oh, wow. Okay. Kevin? 7. All right. Okay, so we are only going to be dealing with 7 chakras today. However, there are a total of 88,000 chakras. And 40 are considered secondary, and only the 7 are considered primary. So we're only dealing with the 7 primary ones today. And they're located along the spine. But one of the misconceptions is this idea that the energy only flows forward, but it's actually 360 degrees. So when you consider when we talk about spinning the energy, yeah, there's a central point, but from that central point, it doesn't just radiate forward. So that's something to keep in mind as we go. I also want to say that the word chakra, you're supposed to say chakra. I always said chakra. So, if you actually say it correctly, it's apparently chakra. But I'll probably slip into chakra a lot. And it just means wheel in Sanskrit. So a chakra is a whirling vortex or spinning wheel of energy that can regulate the body's electrical system in conjunction with the nadis, or energy pathways, so kind of like meridians throughout the body. It is said that the nadis are able to deliver subtle information to each of the chakras, and then the chakra is what transforms that energy into something usable by the body. The substance or the energy is made up of the elements earth, air, water, fire, and ether. Okay. So any questions so far? Okay, I'm going to slide up to the next slide. I think I'll use my mouse. It might work better. Okay, so let's talk about where the chakra system came from. So, writings that helped develop the Western chakra system date back to the 1500s. But much of what is known today was actually created by modern minds. In ancient times, the idea of the chakras was meant to be prescriptive, not descriptive or depictive. So in other words, it wasn't like they were drawing actual physical organs in the body, so much as they were considered sources, not sources, but ways to visualize energy in the body. So tools for visualization. This chakra system is more like a template of potentiality than an actual diagram of an existing system. So it's treated today as more of the pictorial diagram. And so that's one of the misperceptions. The original use of the chakras was for the installation of mantras and deities. So by visualizing the chakra, that became the energetic point within the body where you could charge it with intention and mantra and call in deities and implant them. So complex in itself, but nothing like the books that are selling today that match colors and animals and foods and affirmations and endocrine correlations, which, I mean, all of that is fine, and we're going to talk about that. But the original purpose had nothing to do with any of those things. So what we're doing today is really an amalgam of both the traditional ways of using the chakras and then the more modern ways of using the chakras. Okay. So was that, I'm curious if that was new information or something that maybe you already knew, or any comments about it, because it's kind of unusual.
It's new to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
A lot of it I learned in massage school because I was taking my board exams to be a body worker, which then expands into this realm. So, but it's good reinforcement because I haven't thought about a lot of it in a long time.
Okay, cool. Okay.
That was actually new to me, but from this particular tradition, you know, DL, do you know the Totano Kaios, the caves of power?
No.
In the Toltec, they correspond with the Indian tradition. So, and what you described is very similar. Yeah. So
Cool.
that's nice.
So yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that there is a correlation.
Yeah. Thanks.
Beautiful. Yeah, and I should say, Kevin and I know each other from our Toltec days, and I know that for both of us, I don't know if Kevin worked with chakras beforehand. I did a little bit beforehand, but we were part of an apprenticeship with Heather Amara, and we did, I think it was a 6-month chakra, wasn't it, for one of the.
Yeah.
So we did a 6-month intensive with the chakras. So how can we use the chakra system? This is another multiple choice. So you can think about what you might think is the correct answer. And then after you've had a chance to read it, you can just shout out what you think is correct.
I'm going to go with D.
That's a D in sign language, believe it or not.
Oh yeah,
D for Delta.
as opposed to B.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, D for Delta is correct. So we can diagnose any disease in the body through the chakra system. It can definitely, I mean, my favorite, I think, is B. It can make us more sensitive to vibration and more aware of how and when we come out of balance. And then we can use it to help our whole system operate optimally. And the key there is that it can operate in multi-dimensions so that it's, you know, I mean, already the fact that it's not something physical is another dimension, but it also has, you know, there are 88,000 chakras for one thing. So that should tell you something about the potential of working with other realms and dimensions. So it is all of the above. Okay. So the other thing is that we empower our chakras and it's not the other way around. So a lot of people tend to think that okay, if my root chakra, for example, isn't functioning properly or is, that, you know, I'm going to be okay. But in fact, we can charge our chakras and empower them. And that in turn is what, you know, is how they serve us. So really we are in charge of the chakra and it's not the other way around, that it has a sole impact on us. Let's see. Okay, so just again, I've kind of covered what we were going to talk about today. You're going to learn a mudra or a hand yoga position, as well as an affirmation and a yoga posture to practice for each of the chakras. And I want to say a little bit about the mudras before I go on. So a mudra is just hand yoga. The word mudra is attitude, gesture, or seal. So it can have, it can be used in any of those ways. The word mud, M-U-D, is to delight in, and dru, D-R-U, is to give or to draw forth. So our hands, I mean, this is kind of obvious, but our hands have the potential to both give and receive. And when we use them and place them in certain ways, that directs the energy. So astas are hand mudras that regulate prana being the life force energy in the body. And that prepares the mind for meditation. So I'm going to talk about proper use with mudras now, and then if I need to, I'll remind us again. So, you know, some people can have really tender joints. So you want to be gentle with your mudras. And some of the ones we're doing today aren't that tricky, but if it causes any discomfort for you today, then just back off a little bit. It doesn't have to be a really rigid thing. In fact, it shouldn't be. It's important to not have a very full stomach. So if you've just eaten a big meal, you might feel more discomfort than you would if you had an empty stomach. And the empty stomach, I mean, you can still do it, but you'll have more power, more access if you're not full. And then the idea is to focus, as you're making these mudras, focus on the very subtle vibrations that you feel in your body. And I don't think anyone here will have a problem with that. But if, you know, anybody is listening to this in the future who doesn't have a real awareness of kind of subtle energy and how to feel, it just takes time and practice, and just be willing and open to the more subtle sensations that might be arising. Sitting up straight is important, but also without tension. And you know, if we look at how the chakras are oriented along the inside of the spine, we want that ladder of lights to be straight so that the energy can flow freely up and down. And there are exceptions to that, and some people don't have the ability to sit up straight, and so that's okay. So let's see, anything else? And then Kevin is going to share some of the physical postures that relate to each chakra, and we're going to start off with those and then go into the mudras and the affirmation. Okay, so that's everything there I needed to say. All right, so let's just pause for a second. Any comments or anything? Feel free to.
I'm good.
Okay, we're going to go on then.